All right, welcome and thank you for joining us on this episode of Constructive Conversations, where we aim to bridge the gap in communications between contractors and their customers. Our guest today is Adam Schaffer, CEO of Vipeq West, and he is an expert in this field because he is a distributor for all of North America, which means he's in contact with a lot of contractors, so we're going to get some great insights from him today about communications. So Adam, tell us a little bit about your company, about Vipeq, what you do, and how
First
you
off,
started.
thank you for having me, Nicholas.
Yeah,
Been
my
looking
pleasure.
forward to talking to you, buddy. So yes, like you said, CEO of Vipeq West. What is CEO? I like, leader, full out, bullheaded entrepreneur. Vipeq is an exclusive European brand out of Spain of building materials. So long-lasting, high-end. We all know Europe comes out with the best building materials, right? Longest lasting, things like that. So my day-to-day is working with the Spanish company, the head office, Vipeq España, and to bring the product over. We manufacture in Mississauga, and we have a wonderful business model. What we do is we actually certify contractors. So we get this product, the knowledge, okay? How to talk about Vipeq, how to quote Vipeq, what to do when you go on site to do your initial takeoff, and then obviously how to prep and spray our premier product, which is thermal Cork Shield. And that's, like you said, from Miami to Harris County, where Houston, Texas, to Arizona, to Victoria, BC, and all the way over to the Maritimes. So we have logistical networks set up from coast to coast, coast to coast, and we're shipping out to regional dealers, to their installers.
Uh-huh.
That is somewhat a quick summary of what I do.
Awesome. And how did you get started? Can you give us a little bit of the background?
I sure can. It's quite the story. Again, I'll give you a quick summary. Let's definitely dumb it down. It's almost like an episode of Suits. There was takeovers involved. There was misrepresentation of this Vipeq amazing brand. Okay, thermal Cork Shield, long-lasting, high-end, environmentally friendly, being represented in the wrong manner, wasn't going where it needed to be like a decade ago. And I was this little rough, tough salesman in Saskatchewan, hired to represent Vipeq, okay? The exclusive distribution for Saskatchewan. Well, we developed this business model where, hey, I'm not a contractor, but I can market, I can sell, and I can teach and educate and coach. And the talent will be the contractors. So let me find contractors, train them up on the actual specific application of our product and supply them ongoing. We did that in Sask, sold more product than anybody had ever sold for Vipeq. And we kind of kept rolling with that momentum as other parties were dropping the ball. We picked it up, ran it into the end zone. I took my partner's distribution rights from Saskatchewan. We eventually took over Canada, along with the factory in Mississauga, diligently. And then we went ahead and established Vipeq America for the United States. I've been to Spain, sat in the Navarra Castle with Vipeq España, CEOs and presidents, and formulated a deal. And now we're supplying to, like you said, North America and beyond. I'm talking Virgin Islands, Caribbean, we're looking at the Middle East. So this business model, right, is what we're taking. It's scalable, replicatable, and we're just taking Vipeq to where it needs to be, because we've always believed in that. But fundamentally, from day one, I've just been selling this product.
That's amazing. Good for you.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, so I'm very interested to hear about the process you have for training contractors, because if you look at a comparable industry, maybe stucco contractors, they're not organized, they're not doing takeoffs the same way every time. So talk about that.
Thank you very much for bringing that up, and let's be nice first and foremost. It is an industry that has been butchered by certain people because it's unregulated. Mm-hmm. That's specific, okay? And that's directly from the manufacturers. So the largest suppliers of stucco in the world look at our Vipeq business model and they say, darn, we need to look at this, okay? Other distributors of other products, not even the exterior business, are looking. Why? Because quality control, okay? You may have an amazing stucco product, but it's the details. It's the application, the details, the prep, okay? And a lot of the envelope stuff that deteriorates it and causes the wall to break down. Now, the Vipeq Thermal Cork Shield eliminates so many of those aspects. Why? Well, you're not worrying about cracking, chipping, flaking, delaminating. We get ice up against this. We have the test, we have the lab test, the certification. Ice can dam up against this, it will not pop it off the wall. The house can obviously shift up to a certain point, right? And you're not gonna get the cracking and chipping. So it's eliminating the physical flaws, but the training is what you're talking about. The product, like I said, the parameters allow it to overcome a lot of the physical environmental flaws. But the training, okay, eliminates flaws from miscommunication, from the initial on-site, okay? We're sitting these guys down. It's one day in class. We go over the building envelope, building code, building theory. All right, Nicholas? These guys are getting trained more than they've ever been trained, and they're contractors.
Yeah.
On actual how insulation works, the difference between K value, U value, R value, okay? And how R value is compromised by conduction, radiation, convection of energy. Well, our thermal cork shield actually eliminates all of that. And obviously I'm gonna be talking about my product a bit here.
Yeah,
People need
sure.
to know about
Yeah,
it.
sure.
But it's training these guys from that, fundamentally, okay? Then to the equipment on not just how to spray the product, how to prep that piece of machinery that you now own so that it lasts you 6, 7, 8 years in the field, right? And makes you millions of dollars, this one little Graco machine. So we're taking these, the talent. Contractors are the talent. They're good at doing the hands-on stuff and getting this cork on the wall. But we're doing the coaching, the mentoring, and the managing, just like every sports athlete needs. That's the talent, fundamentally. We go through the building envelope, building theory, the machines, the prep of the house, of the commercial job. We're now in the oil field industry, so we run through that and how you could be certified on how to get into that industry. At the end of the day, we're spending between 9 and 10 hours discussion, okay? Room is full of guys, but we are running through every item that a guy will need to confidently take the samples, the cork, the technical data sheets to a client, whether it's a property manager, an architect, or a homeowner, okay? And confidently speak about it, confidently measure it and quote it, because it's not just about getting some square footage and throwing some cost at it, right? It's about this, that, the other thing. The training, the 2-day training, leaves these guys, and this is words out of their mouth, motivated, confident, and eager to go onto job sites, which we all know, a lot of other industries, you go in right off the street, Kenrock, Builder's Choice, which I work with, I love them, okay, and you can go in there, any contractor, purchase different products, slap it on a wall, charge tens of thousands of dollars and leave town. The Vipeq certified installer model, I do not sell my product to anybody that's not gone through my training, all right? Does that mean that problem's not? If a problem arises, we hear about it, the client can not only just, they're not dealing with just the installer, they're dealing with Vipeq at that point in time.
Right.
We have warranty, we have to upstand our quality. We're a Mike Holmes approved product. We got a lot of people we need to impress. We're also a baby product, being in North America for just over a decade, right? Tucson, Arizona, about 13 years ago. Canada, about a decade now. And it's rocking, but we're still a baby compared to the products we're competing against. So, you asked me about training, went off on a tangent.
Yeah, no, that's great, but that really sets you apart from the contractor who just walks into the supplier, picks up some pails of product and says, hey, I'm gonna charge you this much to spray this on your house. There's no assurance that they're trained, that they know what they're doing, that there's a warranty behind it, so.
You got it.
So that's a big difference.
And that's not saying they can't do it, Nicholas.
Yeah.
A lot of people can train themselves. There's a lot of videos, there's a lot of this and that. However, as a property manager, a building owner, a homeowner, do you need to question that, right? At the end of the day.
Yeah. So, talking on that subject, what does the experience look like from the customer's point of view? Sort of, so when they have a trained installer who's coming in and providing the service, what's their experience? Maybe how is that different than if they're just hiring somebody off the street, putting in a different product, right?
Great question. So a lot of the leads, when we certify a contractor, part of our program is, APEC. That's my Alberta distribution company. We don't contract. And what am I doing every day? I'm out getting leads and users, and we pass them off to the contractor. So, I'm saying 80 to 90% of the leads that these certified installers are getting come through us. And the customer path somewhat looks like somebody from our website, our social media, or even a phone, like even decals on our vehicles, something like that.
Yeah.
We get an initial lead, we qualify, thank you for reaching out, where is the product or project in mind, and is it residential or commercial? Now, we take that data and we sift through, okay, so they're up in Grand Prairie, we've got 3 installers in that area, this is this type of job, all right, if they're all equal, it's gonna go 1, 2, 3, but say this crew is better formulated to do a commercial job, more crews, more scaffolding, they're gonna get, more appropriate jobs. So they're getting, that's the communication from a client. Client can reach out to us, hello, I'm interested in a quote. Simple, one of my team will reach out to them, qualify, get the location, and then actually connect the 2 of them. Now we take it another step further, okay? Contractors are amazing at building cool things, okay? And making products work together properly, okay? The good ones are, and we know that. Sometimes what they can need assistance with is some of the admin, the leads, the CRM type thing. We help with that, right? We're doing that because it's still our lead. I get a lead off social media, I pass it to admin or myself, we'll take care of it, pass it, reach out and connect those 2, okay? All right, you're in Grand Prairie, I'm gonna connect you to Shakel with Carrier Coatings. He's gonna do a free quote for you. And then both of them are told, please let us know if there's anything else needed. Now we have obviously a tracking system. He's put in there, the client's put in there, the date it was given, where the lead came from, and then we can track if it was sold or not, right? We wanna know what kind of, if I'm passing 100 leads, 10 of them are getting sold, or to this guy, 100 leads to this guy, and 80 of them are getting sold. We're gonna find out what the difference is over here, right? So, we go through all of that, and we even hold hands and then we check up. I'll reach out to that lead a week after, say, hey, did so-and-so get a hold of you and come out and do a quote? Well, yes, he got a hold of me and we got a quote planned. Or, no, he hasn't got a hold of me. A lot of the time it's a voicemail or this or that, and we make sure that the lead is actually handed off properly, if that happens, right? Sometimes an email goes to spam. We're going above and beyond to make sure that the leads everybody wants are actually getting dealt with and not lost in electronics somewhere.
Yeah, so really, they have a whole back-end team that's like an overhead team who's making sure that
They do.
that the back-end stuff is happening, the follow-ups.
Regionally and then corporately. We have each regional distributor, Vipeq of Sask, Saskatchewan, Innovative Cork in Manitoba. These are all separate companies, not franchises, but are independent dealers. Then we have APEC. Now, they have support teams, okay? Plus we have our corporate team out of Mississauga.
Okay.
So just tons of support for a contractor.
Yeah.
Right?
So
we know what the problems are.
And is this model comparable? Can you compare it to anything? Is there anything similar, or is this really unique because it's new?
It is very unique, my friend. Now I've modeled many different companies. Okay. Any exclusive distribution type model. Now, as far as building materials are concerned, as far as European and exclusive building materials are concerned, there's, the spray foam industry, right? But which isn't quite exclusive. Anybody can get involved. You got to have the money to buy the truck and the equipment and stuff like that. But it still can be a saturated market because of that fact, right? And we actually regulate how many contractors will be in each area, right? If I set up 20 contractors in one town and 3 of them are getting if they're not getting enough leads, that's gonna kill things, right? They're gonna drop off, they're not gonna purchase product, which is how I actually make a living. And that's what we need. We want them to just continue going forward. We just want enough guys that can handle the threshold. Okay, say I'm getting leads and it's, I can't get to that, I can't quote it for 2 months. I can't spray that till next year. And that's the motif. Well, then I'm gonna be looking for a couple more contractors in that area. But the idea is not to create those toxic markets and industries where you got 20 guys trying to get one residential house, right, to make a living.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of places that need a new exterior though. So there's a lot of work to go around right now.
Oh yeah, for sure. So there's a lot of work, but you also manage the availability so that people aren't sitting waiting 6 months.
I'm not going to get
get
fans.
their project.
Because you pay to get certified, all right? It's very affordable. You get equipment, you get product, you get branding, samples, everything else. But there's a cost to it. If you pay and everybody gets their ROI, but say they didn't, I don't need that. I want fans. I'd rather people love Vipeq and make money off Vipeq and want to continue to sell it and put in those orders. And if I have 15 guys in Brooks fighting for one job, right? Not gonna make too many fans. Sustainability is it's a beat up word nowadays, but it's still a real agenda.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely, that makes sense. Again, going to like the customer side, the topic of communications between your contractors and the customer. So can you talk specifically about that training?
I sure can. Yeah, so that's actually part of the curriculum is, when I say marketing, sales, the on-site training, that's a big part. We probably spend a couple hours on that part. That's the sale, and that's not just a homeowner. It could be a property manager that's maintaining, a whole condo board. We are very adamant on customer service and on coaching contractors to take things to the next level. All right, we're blue collar, but we can have, we can be white collar with our manners and our politics, right? And that will be what sets a lot of the contractors aside, and who a lot of the clients hire. So we really hit on that. We go through etiquette, what to, I don't care if you smoke cigarettes, but are you going up for the first on-site, quote with a cigarette hanging out of your mouth and then dressed a certain way? I can't 100% police that, but we train on that and the etiquette and how you should look and how you should speak. And that comes back to creating the fans. People adore us. We adore them. They will want to impress us, and they want to then make sure that I'm getting the feedback that states, you guys came to site in nice uniforms and Vipeq hats and in their own company branding. They took care of my job site. They asked me about our plants. We go through all that stuff, the etiquette, right? You don't just go and start trampling on lawns. You talk to your client, where should I set up my mixing station? Where can I, do you want me to remove stuff off site every day? Or would you like me, or, oh no, you put it behind the shed. But you have that discussion. You go above and beyond. When you get there in the morning, you actually say, hi, this is our plan today. We're probably gonna have to mask these windows, this door and stuff, and anything else that you let them know. You don't just come on a site, right? And again, these are my employees, so we coach and we train, and the good ones do good, right? And all my installers are amazing. But this is, we are adamant on that. Okay, that's the difference in contracting right now, is it not, Nicholas?
Absolutely.
Is the customer service, the follow-up, the feedback, the retention, the network. So if you are it's very simple. Something can fester a lot, okay? You come to the job site and do some work and leave that night, and maybe some stuff went on and you didn't get as much done as maybe the client expected. If you just simply knock on the door, hey, we're done for the day, we're gonna tidy up here, tidy up there, this is what happened today and this is what we plan on doing tomorrow. The difference, he's gonna be so happy, they're gonna be so ecstatic that you just communicated. Or the opposite, zero communication, you and your boys leave off site, maybe tidy up a bit, leave without talking and without communicating, and these guys come out and actually like nothing's been done, but they don't realize it was 9 hours of prep just to do what they did. They don't realize that if they don't communicate that, right? We coach and train on all of that, man. And we need that to be happening, because how much can that fester in 6 hours? I hired these guys to do this crazy cork spray stuff that does everything under the sun. And, they came today and all they did, they masked this, that, and the other thing. They don't realize what happened on the ground with the trees, with the this, with the that, with the tarps, right? And that festering of 6-7 hours is night and day between that person's experience. Yes, you can come back and you can clean it up and talk to the guy, well, I'm sorry about that, I'll communicate better, but if you just do it. So that's a big part of our training, man. How often do you get that at the big box stores that are selling, building materials? You know, no. I mean, yes, in store they're great customer service and everything like that, and there's nothing against them, Kev, nothing against any industry. But this is how we are different, right? And this is what we truly desire, is that upstanding. And there's other brands. You asked me about comparable brands. You know, I could compare it to you know, a Certa Pro painter type thing, right? Or College Pro painter, like the branded. They use specific products. And they have uniforms, and they really hit on that customer service stuff. That's kind of what we're after, just with more exclusive products and be a little bit higher end and blowing it up, man.
Yeah, I really like that. So that key is even that little bit of information that you do communicate, that goes a long way. That's huge, and that's what makes a difference to the customer and keeps them happy, keeps everyone in the loop.
You don't even know, like, say one window in the kitchen. Well, you have to come back tomorrow and do a touch-up, right? We as a company, we would rather not waste, okay? Now there's ways to do things, and if, say there's even a window, it might not even be a main window, but you wanna leave it like masked for the night, knocking on that door saying, you know, we got a touch-up to do, so we're just gonna leave this masked, is that okay? Night and day, because sometimes they'll say, well, actually that's like my daughter's room and we want to open that. Okay, I'll make sure that it's open and we'll make do. Or they're like, please leave it up there and let's not waste any more tape and poly. And I know, you know, we're talking, that's little thing is really, if you just leave it and leave, and these people will complain, right? And I don't mean, you know, these people are negative. I am liable to complain too if somebody makes my room hot and stuffy. So they're not, I'm not faulting them for that. Tell them why that, and they will not complain, right? Communication is everything in contracting, right? You tell me yourself what happens night and day if you're waiting for a specific, you know, trim or wood, and all of a sudden an extra week. Do you just not talk to the client for a week and not go to the job site because you don't have the products? Or you tell them, what's the difference?
You gotta tell them, you gotta communicate. Yeah, that's big. So then, sort of, if we look at the contractors, before they come into your training and after that, their communications leveled up. So there's really like that gap between somebody who's had some training on this, because you might be good at your job, you might be really good at
spraying it,
at spraying it, but some of these guys have never gone to school for communications, right? Nobody's told them this.
And they may not think that they can be that way. But they come and talk to me for 8-9 hours, and I'm like all Tony Robbins with them, coaching them, motivating them. They may never think that they could be and actually own multiple businesses either. And when we train them once, and we want them to buy 10 machines and have 10 foremen spraying 10 different products a week, or projects a week, okay? We want people to grow. And the communication, it comes because of that training, that motivation, that coaching. But Nicholas, it also comes because of product knowledge and passion. That's the number one selling agent to any salesman. When you know how to specifically talk about a thermal break and R value in the wall and how they work together and how it should be breathable, which our thermal Cork Shield is, because it needs to be. I gotta throw those plugs in there. When they know how to talk about that, right? It's night and day, because you can go to other suppliers, you can purchase products you have zero technical knowledge about. When you order thermal Cork Shield, you have studied the TDS, you have gone through the warranty documents, why? Because we do it with you, in front of you, and it's necessary. There ain't no getting by, it's regulated. We all know, okay, the contracting industry is unregulated, and in certain provinces, they're 10 years ahead with the regulation, right? We try to take it one step further and regulate it in another way. You know, on top of associations and bureaus, it's the actual supplier is managing that.
Yeah, so you're taking responsibility upon yourselves to make sure that, you're basically self-regulating, making sure everyone's trained and doing things properly. Like you said, product knowledge. I know
product knowledge.
You have a lot of that, and you have the passion. And
it's easy to talk about Cork for a long time, for when you actually love it and know it. And you know what? One of our new models, I think, Nick, it's going to be Cork. It's actually fun to watch it dry. Because like that's one thing you hear forever, right? It's as fun as watching paint dry. Now, It's crazy. You'll go to a job site, you'll spray even the first coat, and you'll be standing there just like, oh man, that looks good. As it dries, because it's a matte, beautiful texture, right? The client will be out there. And I'll stand back and be like, man, people actually love watching cork dry. It's fun. It is a natural product. It's been around for a long time. Okay, and why? Why was cork used instead of any other product? This is good wood, right? It's all good wood for different uses. Cork, why has it been used specifically for what it's been used for? The breathability, the rot resistance. And by the way, that was in a orifice a lot smaller than that. And what did it do? It went back to its original size and shape. Just like our product, if it's hit by hail. Woodpeckers hate it. Why cork? Why would you have to put this on your expensive table? Right? You say you got an oak table you spent a ton of money on, but you still don't want to put a hot pot on it. Why isn't it strong enough to uphold that? It's pretty. Cork is a natural insulator, and that's why you need a 50-cent pot stop before you put that hot pot down. Well, imagine if you spray a product like that on the exterior of your home. It's breathable, it's long-lasting, it's impact-resistant, fire-retardant, Class A, and 30 beautiful colors. I'll go on all day, man. That's the product, but cork is intertwined with that, right? Why is cork in fermented fruit and it doesn't rot? Well, you're gonna know the answer now. There's a fatty acid in cork. I'm gonna ask you this next time I see it. It's called suberin, okay? You'll see a lot of cork brands are called suberin, stuff like that, like the cork manufacturers. Suberin, fatty acid in cork that kills mildew and mold. All right, Nicholas, in a lab test on our product, they had our product in a petri dish, tried to grow mold, kills it, okay? 0 mold growth after 1,000 hours. Also, our salt resistance, okay? 0.5% mass displacement after 1,000 hours of direct saltwater contact. We have the CAN S102 Class A flame spread. You see all that confidence? You wanna know how much clients love that? When you actually know what the heck you're talking about? That is what our installers can do when they're done training, right? They're not miscommunicating, they're not mismessaging. A client will actually know what kind of efficiency they're gonna get, long-lasting properties they're gonna get, and they're not gonna oversell it either and promise you, well, we can spray this on your walls and you'll never have to insulate your walls. No. We work with insulation. We're just a really high-end, long-lasting, functioning finish. But that's sales. That's what we put into the heads of these salespeople. I'm even working on a sales playbook. On top of the training, they get a user guide, they get the technical data, so much content. They're gonna get a sales playbook. So now, even after the training, you can hire employees, right? And keep and training them, and you're on quality control then with our support. But if you hire 3 more guys that you wanna go and represent Thermal Cork Shield, you don't have to pay them to come to my training, right? If you're upstanding your license agreement, we give them a sales playbook. So now as the foreman of a crew, your 3 boys can be out there and actually properly trained from a corporate level. This is like a corporate style sales playbook that you get at like Branch Tractor, something like that. You know what I mean? Like some high-end stuff.
Nice.
So we were trying to cover all angles without selling, we don't sell franchises, man. These are independent contractor agreements. We are virtually working together. I want to sell product. I want to sell it for them. We just want good guys that can spray it.
So I like that. You take all the information, you give it to the contractor so that they're educated on the product, and then they pass that down to the customer. So then the customer actually is educated about what they're getting.
It's huge.
Which a lot of the time doesn't happen, and then they're happier with their product because they can say to their friends, "Oh yeah, I got this, and it's flame resistant, and it's not going to get dented by hail."
They're fans.
Yeah. So yeah, like you said before, they're fans.
And how do you create any successful business? You have to create raving fans. Stole that from Mr. Anthony Robbins.
Yeah.
It's so true though. Because why? When you leave the room, you need people talking about you in a good manner, and that's how a business will continue to grow. Now, like I said, we're also very new. We have to sell this product, right? It is unknown to some. We're building a household name in certain regions, right? Go back to Saskatchewan. When you mention parging somewhere, they're going to say, don't do a cementitious parging. Finish your foundation with cork. you can color match, you can, go with a traditional gray, or you can do black or this, but it's gonna last and blah, blah, blah. So we're creating that, but even without that, even if everybody knew us, we still have to sell that. You still have to, there's competitors coming to the market. We are used to products that have been around, right, for hundreds of years that really aren't performing the way that they necessarily should. And there's some other players coming into the game that are gonna produce the results we want in the industry, okay? Buildings were built with a 50 to 100 year, plan to be around back in, even in the recent past. Now we're looking at, with the building materials, the methods, and the environment, because we have been affecting it in one way or another, specifically by building buildings and then knocking them down and rebuilding buildings, okay? There's a lot of waste involved.
Oh, yeah.
We're now, when I say we, the whole industry is looking towards 500 to 1,000 year old longevity, okay, in our buildings. That's a significant increase. We're gonna need products that can withstand that longevity and be maintained, right? So products that don't need to be ripped off and started from scratch.
Awesome. That's great. That's great.
Great.
Like you said, you're developing the playbook and sort of, so the systems you had to develop to get where you are now, and then like you said, there's competition coming online. What are you doing to stay ahead of them? And
I absolutely love
to
that.
set the bar.
There's competition coming from everywhere for everyone, okay? And that is exactly why we are building this completely different business model with the certification, and nobody else does that. Specifically our competitors. There's other products that do have cork in them. They're more of a paint or an acrylic with some granulated cork. They don't compare when it comes to like the certification, the longevity, and the branding. And could that change? Yes. So we have to always stay on top of that. The branding, the certification specifically, and continuously maintaining our patents and make like the formulation is constantly being tested, constantly being improved. But that is what sets Vipeq apart. Is cork is available if you got the money. Okay, we get the most amazing cork on earth from the Amarin family in Portugal. It is the best cork on earth, lowest density, which gives it the most air pockets. Right? Remember all this. You're gonna be testing. Just kidding. You can get that though with money. All right. What you can't get is the proprietary Vipeq resin that we have mastered the projection and the protection of cork. Cork is incredible, but if we put this down on your bare floor and just stepped on it every day, we would wear it out. You put it in a polymer resin, protect it. That mimics the properties of cork, allows it to maintain its breathability, its fire retardant, and its flexibility. You're winning, all right? But that is what puts us above the competitor. On top of having the most amazing product, the certification, the branding, the expansion, making sure when all these regions, with contractors, here's the deal. We could get these contractors signed up and maybe a competitor comes in and wants to sell cheaper, right? Listen to me. We actually hear about it. We know about it before anything else. Why? Because they're loyal. Why? Because we've created raving fans. We communicate with these people, like reach out to them out of nowhere. My office reaches out to them. Corporately, they get newsletters and they get love. And we develop a relationship. When you're certified, we often, I know this is a little tidbit, we go for dinner, okay? No matter where I'm at. If I'm in Harris, County, Texas, or if I'm in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, we go for dinner, we have a steak, at the end of the night it's bye, good night, safe, get home safe, love you boys, welcome to the Vipeq. Dude, we say I love, like we are a family, all right? We develop a relationship that is probably one of the main reasons we will remain ahead of the competitors. What was the other aspect of that, the first aspect of the question?
Yeah. So to recap, the main things, you have a product that's evolving, that's staying at the top of the market because you have the R&D, you have
and more products coming into that catalog, Nicholas.
And they're adding, and then the other side is you have the relationships with the contractors so that they stay motivated, they're enthusiastic, they're happy to be representing Vipeq.
And we bring that all together with relationships with contractors like colleagues like you in the industry, or something as simple as a lunch and learn. and making fans inside of a company like Colliers, right? Colliers International. I recently had 8 of their agents over at my office, brought in some amazing Mexican food from a lovely networking friend of mine. And we sat down for 2 hours. They probably were late for meetings because we just had so much discussion. 8 agents that manage millions of square foot of buildings, right? Well, now they know that they don't even have to, if they don't want to reach out to a contractor, that they don't have to. They reach out to Vipeq, they say, Adam, I need a bid, here's the information. I will take it from there then, hook them up with a contractor, an appropriate one, suitable, right? And it's actually great because, this is going to require some flashing, fascia, and some metal work too. Maybe some roofing. Well, that's perfect for Alex with South Peak Roofing. So I'm going to connect them. These guys are fans because they leave my lunch in there, right? They're fed, they're watered, they're jolly, right? They got some hats and some swag, but they are significant. And that's what people need. It's one of the 6 basic human desires, significance. And we're all after it, I'll tell you, in one way, shape, or form. Maybe that's why I, wear jewelry and have tattoos. Who knows? It's significant, so we're all after it. Bringing these agents in, addressing them one-on-one while we're in a group, feeding them what they wanted, and getting their order ahead of time. Talking to them, asking them now, it's question time, what projects do you have right now after learning about my product that you might be interested in? Well, that raised the discussion on the cement tiles for roofs.
Yeah.
Very hard to maintain, you're sick and tired of painting them. Guess what is perfect for going on cement and clay tiles on a roof, which is also going to improve a ton of efficiency. That discussion comes about. These guys leave, they're looking through their portfolios for bids to give to our contractors. So it's about developing the fanship everywhere, okay? From the homeowner who's gonna get it because they've seen an ad. An average demographic of ours would probably see Mike Holmes talk about it on his television show, one of us spraying about it. That might be what draws them in. Everybody's gonna have a specific fan that has brought them in to this, right? And I'm always gonna go back to that. You don't have fans, man. Somebody else is gonna come take your company over.
Yeah, absolutely. So you got the fans, and you have the, again, building relationships on that side.
Yes.
So
it's all building relationships, ongoing.
And the other part of the question was more on the process to get to where you are now. Like, what was that like? Like figuring out,
buddy,
I need to have these people in here for lunch to develop the relationships instead of just cold calling them in their office.
I love
what
that.
Was that like?
How did it develop from just sitting around calling people to ask if they wanted to hear about my product, which we know how quick that goes. How did it go from that to where we are? Trade shows. Okay, trade shows are a huge part of the growth and how I started to expose this product. And as we started taking over like the actual regions and getting dealers set up, it was in my contracts that they had to attend a certain amount of trade shows every single year. There's no better way to get a product that nobody's ever heard of in front of people that actually want to see. You go to a trade show, I'm sorry, you're going to be sold to. Okay? You can walk by my booth if you want, but that's the one invitation that I have to heckle you, get over here. Have you heard about spray cork? How's your exterior walls doing? By the time you leave my booth, you're gonna be stoked. You might not even own a home, okay? But you're gonna be stoked on my product. And then, the whole process, buddy, from being hired as a rep with a full office around me. I was working in an office that had admin. There was multiple companies in there. And then takeovers happened. Restructures happened to working out of my kitchen office and developing things from absolute scratch with zero credit or investment, all right? And doing it on my own, every single hat of the company, being in networking groups, and then going to a couple maybe formal meetings, and then changing my clothes to go pack a skid and get an order together and send it out to a small town in Saskatchewan, getting on my forklift, which was one of my first investments. And then to the next week, I'm putting on my education hat, which is a mixture of formalities and then getting extremely dirty on a job site for a few days and training guys. Every single hat, Nicholas, and I'm talking zero systems. Where's my cell phone? Running it with virtually that, okay?
Wow.
And I did have I hired an accountant because that was one thing I had to. I was at one point after the initial takeover for Western Canada making the sale, creating the invoice, taking the payment, shipping the order after I've trained those guys. Okay? Now that's the simplest way to put it. Now I have all of that is becoming automated, translucent, replicatable, and there's processes involved for every single one of those things so that I can focus on the sales and growth. But every single one of those ads on a daily basis. And I had to just admit to myself one day that I could give this part up, that I could give this part up, and I couldn't give this. And the business model is absolutely amazing too for expansion. Getting regional guys set up and getting installers that are set up, just ordering. I didn't have to purchase like a storefront in every region to get things going. It was an impeccable way to get things expanded. Again, would not have worked without having loyal fans. Oh, I always come back to that.
Yeah, so you started from wearing all the hats, doing everything yourself, and then
going to the trade shows.
Doing absolutely everything. And then at that point you started to delegate those tasks down so that you don't have to be the one writing the receipts and doing
you
sales.
got it.
So
it
you
sucks
take on
being
the higher value tasks.
You got it. Do what you do best. Hire for the rest. It sucks being the guy making the sale. It really does, and then turn around saying, "Well, pay me." I mean, it's all part of the process. But one guy has to be a good guy, another person has to be the business guy, right? So I met an amazing woman in 2019, and she was a young lady but building businesses, and I was watching it, and all of a sudden there was an opportunity that came up that I could nab her, and I needed exactly what she was doing with this other company. She was also became my girlfriend. But over a year after that, that's when I nabbed her for my company as the chief administrative officer to take everything. And I'm telling you, Nicholas, I could tell you what an installer ordered 2 years ago. Like, awesome. This order that, blah, 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 cork spray took in June of 2020. And that was 13 pails of Blanco, and I sent it to Calgary, Alberta. They sprayed like a shack indoors. And it would be accurate. And I could tell you kind of what the invoice, even, my brain is ridiculous like that, but should it be? Should I be worried about that stuff? She took everything out of my head. I actually got a CRM program that worked with my accountant. I actually got, Adobe. The main reason I hired her was to make sure my darn printers were always hooked up and working. Because like every second day they just stop. That's the main reason. That was the first task. And then from there is developing these systems and transparency and procedures, because I'll tell you, man, I know that there's a lot of CEOs that just take it all on and they don't give up and they don't delegate and they don't split. I don't know why, okay? No matter how much, and I even have to calm down my ego once, but maybe it's because I'm lazy. I don't want to have to do everything, all right? But I want to figure out how to do everything amazing and who to put into these places. And then I do want to focus on what matters the most, right? I got other states to grow, okay? I got Hawaii in my sights. I need to find a dealer and get some installers there. Do I need to be worried about, a $2,500 invoice? Right, it's part of business, but that's what was all taken away from me at my desire. Everything and behind running a company, Nicholas.
Yeah, that's awesome. I like that when you say you want to figure out the best way to do something, but then you pass that off. It's not
to the best person that can do it.
Yeah. And then you keep moving on to the next one.
You still have to.
So you're at all times you're optimizing everything in the business, and that's why it's such a good system that you have set up now. You
got it, and I think you have to have your desire to control it in that way, right? You want to make sure it's optimized the best. Am I going to take this now and roll with it? No, we're going to hire somebody or put this into the hands of somebody else that already works for us. But you still, as a CEO, a president, and a manager, have to oversee the optimization in the process in some way, shape or form.
Is there any favorite tools that you use as part of that?
Great.
Tools could be software or training that you've gotten?
So that would, again, Taylor has been put in charge of all the tools, systems, software. She's also working with the CDAP. She's going to be working with the whole program, and we're going to be developing some more digital, adopting some more digital programs. But we got on QuickBooks, and I'm going to be working with a fella that we both know through networking for some AI robots.
Nice.
So basically a couple tasks right now. Say we're having a meeting, you're an interested contractor, you do stucco or siding, and you now want to become thermal Cork Shield. We have a great meeting, you're stoked, you got some samples. Now you want all the technical data pricing, like the actual info. Well, now I email Taylor your email, say, Taylor, can you please introduce yourself to Nicholas, send him all the thermal Cork Shield info, and welcome him to the team. He's interested in becoming an installer. Guess what? My robot that Adam Thompson is building me, named Scott, is now gonna, I contact him through, he's an AI bot. I'm gonna say, hey Scott, and that is his name, Scott the Vipeq bot. Hey Scott, hope all is well, and I'm gonna address him nice just because I don't know what's gonna happen with all this AI, okay? I'm gonna talk to him with respect.
That'd be nice.
Hope you're having a good day, Scott. If you're not too busy, and the beautiful thing, he's not, he works for me, we pay him less than minimum wage an hour. And that goes obviously to the fella that's developed him. And I say, hey, here's your email address, please send, and he's gonna have a template, he's gonna have this, it's gonna be, send this to Nicholas, interested installer, Calgary, Alberta. So that, right, different regions are a little different, maybe pricing, maybe the training dates. Boom, he turns around in 5 seconds and he's done that. I don't have to disrupt Taylor. That, come on, man.
That's
right?
awesome.
We've
That's
all
huge.
seen
Yeah.
Terminator, and we all know, right, what can happen, but get over it and let's have some fun with it. Like, if he can make both of our days a little bit easier, right? Obviously, Taylor's making more than minimum wage, and if I have to take her off a task, she might have 4 things on it, though. And now I gotta get her to send an email, which is important, right? It's being somewhat personal. Well, he's gonna send it from our email. It's gonna be personal, but it's gonna be less than just automation, right? It's gonna be me triggering and actually talking to him, to the bot. I'm excited about that. I'll keep it posted.
That's really exciting. Yeah. In that vein, what else are you excited about? Like, what's the trajectory that Vipeq is on, and what are you looking forward to in the future?
This is the best time you can ask me this. Huge restructure. Okay, and it's not every day that somebody's happy about a complete restructure, which means they've actually given things back to a company so that the company can gain investors and partners. All right, I'm super stoked about that. We restructured all the Vipeq corporate America in Canada to gain some sweat equity partners, large marketing companies. Okay, I can't disclose it yet. Investors, so that we can properly expand in 2024. All right, we have the rights to all North America. Okay, we're not in every state yet. We should be. We should have this exact business model. We now, though, it's taken us some time. We now have this business model. It is down pat. The training is down pat. The systems, the documents, everything legal, completely down pat. We've also been using the product for a decade. And I can now, with confidence, I knew that all these lab tests were done, certification, but did I really know? You know, that we knew that it fades. You know, it fades 10 times slower than traditional paint and stucco. And that is all on paper. But actually seeing it 10 years later, seeing it that it looks like we sprayed it last week is just incredible, man. So, all that development, all these standards, all the knowledge that we built is now, okay, we're 7 years into this as our corporation, all right? We're at a time to truly expand. These new partners in place, the new marketing agenda in place, plus, Nicholas, we have a flooring product. This has all been built off of thermal Cork Shield, which is a high-end functioning finish. We have a flooring product, a sprayed quartz coming to the market. It's already in the market, okay? For flooring and bathroom and walls. Beautiful sprayed quartz product. Waterproof and super long lasting. Then we have Vipeq MAP. It's going through CCMC right now, which is going to be an industrial roofing retrofit and finishing product using recycled rubber that would be sitting in a landfill or the ocean for the rest of, you know, for a few hundred more years. We grind that up into dust, use another similar resin. It's fire retardant, completely waterproof, long lasting, seamless. That's going to be industrial roofing industry. It's going to be huge for us. Those, you know, you're asking me about the expansion in 2024. I specifically, in my Vipeq West umbrella of exclusivity, am running North Dakota, Idaho, and Montana. So because of that restructure, I gained that under my umbrella. And I get to take this business model and start training and meeting contractors there and growing my family, right? Because of this, you know, they say I go down to Colorado Springs, train up the guys there. right? They have a house with a guest room. They're right on a golf course there. These relationships, I'm extremely grateful. Okay, and I'm not bragging over there, they're on a golf. The beautiful thing is, Adam, you are welcome here whenever the heck you want. And because of this, these fans, the relationship, doing business with these people, I can rightfully go to many states, the Virgin Islands, going to the Virgin Islands, St. Thomas, staying in a house that has Cork on it. He's our dealer down there. And I'm lucky, right? I'm extremely lucky because of those relationships we've built. We wouldn't have done it if we didn't put the effort in to build those relationships. Do you know what I'm saying? And those are just some of the perks that came with it. And when I reflect on that, that's what's exciting, is building more of those relationships, right? I can't wait to have a dealer in Montana that when I feel like taking a 4-hour drive, go down there and have coffee with him and hang out in Montana. Relationships, man. And also at the end of the day, sell him some product. But it's like the cool relationships that we built, man.
Yeah, that's awesome. So your network is expanding, and then that family, like you mentioned, is also expanding.
Yes.
So that's great.
My whole life is networking, Nicholas. From the networking groups that we're in to what am I doing for a living? All I'm doing is networking between end users and my installers and creating connections. That's just what networking is. Oh, we got 2 people that should be connected, let me do it. That's what I'm doing in Vipeq, right? Just making sure that everybody knows what the heck they're doing in between.
Yeah, so you're connecting the dots. Can you give people some advice on that? So say there's a contractor listening and who doesn't know the first thing about networking, and they want to connect some dots, maybe meet other people in the industry or meet customers. Can you give some tips on that relationship building aspect?
You are you're asking the right guy. I'm involved with a number of different networking groups, avid on it, and I just believe that you should find the time. If you are a contractor, you may think that's the last thing you should do is drop your tools or leave your foreman, say on a Wednesday morning to go to a BNI meeting, right? But you should. It's an hour and a half to 2 hours of your time. And if you're an owner, a foreman, or a manager, or supervisor, if you can't find that time or find it in your heart to see that that's valuable, then I don't know if you will ever grow. And any contractor should desire that and want that. And believe me, you can be a businessman, okay? You don't just have to earn money when you're swinging a hammer or actually spraying my product, right? When we train guys, I want the foremans to have several machines, the owners to have multiple machines, and turn them into a businessman. And I think contractors take that advice, take the step. Oh, I'll lose my breath if I can't publicly speak, I'm nervous. Just do it. Reach out. If you really want some advice, reach out to Nick or I. We will, I don't care if you're in Calgary, we know networking groups from across the country. I will specifically actually twist somebody's arm till they just get out of bed or get out of the shop for a couple hours, go to a networking group just to see how it is at least once, and understand how, without paying them, you can all of a sudden have 20 or 30 people selling for you without commissions, right? Why? Well, because you also have a very valuable black book. A lot of contractors know a lot of other contractors, suppliers, they might even know accountants and lawyers and things like that. Well, we want your black book. So I'm willing to give you leads and give you referrals for free if you open that up to me, and it's called Giver's Gain, and we all want to do it. And if you don't even get the referrals, which you will when you're networking, you're gonna get better at publicly speaking, you're gonna get more confident at talking, and you're gonna be then better representing your company when you go to a client meeting. And it really is gonna show. I've seen people develop, in 2 years of, BNI, or in a year of BX, to where when they were going to talk on a door, or knock on a door just to talk to their own client who's already given them a deposit, they were nervous and just choked up and everything else. And it's like, you're not lying to anybody, you're not shady, like you're not ripping, there's no reason to be nervous.
Yeah.
And get out and network. It'll help you talk about your company, talk about your brand, and just talk to other business people. And you are just as powerful as the people you surround yourself with. If a person surrounds himself with 5 millionaires, it's virtually a proven fact. If the closest 5 people around you in your network, your closest 5 peers are millionaires, guess who's going to become the 6th? we're gonna find a way, there's gonna be a network, there's gonna be some sort of a lead, there's gonna be some sort of a pat on the back. Might not happen overnight, but really, man, proximity is power. And if you're not growing, you're dead, all right? And what do we do with a dead plant?
Dead plant?
Yeah, what happens when a plant stops growing?
Oh, it's garbage.
You got it,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
And if we're not educating or growing or developing our public speaking or developing our networking skills, you're gonna exist.
Yeah, yeah. And you think that plays into, you know the old stat, 95% of businesses fail in X number of years.
100%.
And how many of those aren't pushing the envelope, pushing their comfort zone to go out and say, hey, let's go
Let's
do
do-
some networking. I've never done this before, but I'll go figure it out.
You got it.
Right? So that's that 5%.
Take that step. If you think it's nerdy, if you think that it's a waste of your time, do it once. How the frick do you know until you do it once, try, at least, and then my next piece of advice, this is the most important, don't just go to the networking event, okay? There's CRCA, the Calgary Renovation Contractors Association. I'm just bouting off a few. Better Business Bureau, you may, love it, hate it, but go to some events. BX, BNI. Go to those events, but I'm telling you, do all the stuff I just talked about. The biggest thing though is actually exchange business cards, actually get information, and make sure you actually follow up. Because other than that, it is just a coffee. You're not networking when you're in those meetings. You're developing the network. You're developing the triggers. So the biggest piece of advice on top of actually going to the events is to book it ahead of time. The next day, an hour to 2 hours. I'm busy, I gotta work all day, I gotta, hang tile. Good, go do that. And then in the evening, if you actually wanna grow and you're not lying to us, follow up. Take the pile of business cards. Don't let them sit in your pocket or on your desk for 2 weeks. And then it's the new year all of a sudden, and now you don't want to talk to this guy. You've wasted your time then. Follow up with an introduction. Hello, my name is Jack Smith. I met you at this event. Remember, this is what I do. And you and I had a great discussion, like break the ice. And you want to know how easy that is if you have a template? Right, when I have to introduce myself, or Nicholas, say,
Yep.
You have told me at a BX meeting that you have a connection for me. The first thing that I'm gonna do is send you an email saying, Nicholas, I can't wait for that connection. Thank you very much. It's on me to follow up. Thank you very much for thinking of it. Here's an introduction paragraph that you can actually copy and paste to make that introduction. Now, I'm not waiting for Nicholas to have an extra hour of time so that he can then write an introduction. Well, Adam is this, that, the other thing. Have a template. Send that out on your follow-ups and actually make those meetings. And if you mean what you say, you will grow your business. You will grow the business that you're running for a board if that's your desire. You'll grow your partner's business, okay? Just do it. Get out, do it, and then follow up.
Awesome. That's great. That's all great advice.
That's it. And if
Yeah.
you really have more advice, is email Nick or myself,
Mhm.
and we'll get you out to one of the networking events.
Absolutely.
Point you in the right direction anyway. Yeah,
100%. So Adam, where can people find you?
I got a few different websites, but let's make it easy. Let's go vipeq.ca. All right, so that's going to be my Saskatchewan-based distribution. It's just the easiest URL, vipeq.ca. You're going to get all the information on the product, information on how to reach out to us, and then, frankly, if anybody's really interested in talking, I'm not afraid to get flooded. Email me at adam@vipeq.ca. That's VIPEQ. I'm sure that you'll have some sort of spelling.
Yeah, that'll be in the show notes.
Great.
For sure.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, it was a pleasure to have you. That was a great discussion.
It was.
I think that's be valuable for a lot of listeners. So
Nicholas,
thanks.
man, it is a
Thanks for
pleasure and an
showing
honor,
up.
man. Thanks for having me, buddy.
Thank you.